Not Miracles. I am Anna with an itchy toe actually. I'm Anna from Eat, Move, Be Happy. Martha might join us, she might end up jumping on the chair as well as me, but we'll see. So a seated version of Movement Not Miracles today. We have used, oh excuse me, we have used a chair in other sessions, but I thought we'd do my Wi-Fi playing up again. I'm back now, hopefully. I was up to saying I thought we'd do a complete session of chair-based movement and stretch exercises. And before we start, I will just caveat that with saying if you can stand, then getting out of your chair and moving around is a good thing. But actually, if you do find yourself sitting in a chair, then using some of these stretches and exercises whilst you are sitting is also a good way of keeping things, looking after your posture and keeping things mobile and stretched. So I have a little swizzly chair here, just so that I can show you if I swizzle around. What I want us to think about to start off with, rather than sort of sitting back on the fleshy part of your bum and leaning into the back of the chair, if we can sit forwards and sit up out of our pelvis. So think of weight on either side of your bottom bones. So sitting on the bones of your bum, sitting up nice and tall with your feet flat on the floor. I know you can't see my feet, but my feet are flat on the floor. So the chair is not too high that my feet are swinging from the floor. So I'm quite balanced here and sitting up nice and tall rather than slouching down like this with my belly sticking out. So I'm using the muscles in my back, in my sides and in my tummy to support myself sitting nice and tall. And to start off with, we're just going to think of rolling through the shoulders. So relaxed through the shoulder joint and squeezing our shoulder blades together on our back and getting as much movement through those shoulders as we can. If I show you from the side as well, from the front, whilst maintaining that upright position. So we're not going to roll and slump back down just because we're moving our shoulders. So think of really pushing your shoulders up towards your ears and then back and down and really squeezing so your chest is up. And as you squeeze your shoulder blades together, you should get a bit of a stretch across the chest too. We are going to stretch our chest in a second. And just reminding ourselves to sit in that sort of a posture rather than this sort of a posture. I catch myself sitting like this. So I'm very round shouldered, my chest and my shoulders are coming forward. I'm sinking into my body. That's actually not good for us. So if you can remind yourself to sit nice and tall, then it just feels better. It might feel like hard work because your muscles are working slightly differently, and that's a good thing. So also, if you can, using your arms, so you can start with just the shoulder roll and then think about reaching back and down. So again, shoulder blades squeezing onto your back chest and a nice big stretch across the chest as you come back down, and trying not to arch through your back as you reach back, so your back stays nice and straight. Sitting nice and tall and just encouraging more space across the front of your chest and across your collarbones and a taller posture in your sitting with your shoulders relaxed away from your ears, so we don't want to be hunched up like this. So we'll just do a bit of a stretch for your neck. So again, sitting nice and tall, as you sit in your chair and you catch yourself doing this, sitting nice and tall and encouraging some stretch across the top of our shoulders and into our neck. So you can lean your head one way and push that hand down towards the floor. So you should feel a bit of a stretch in the muscles where it's really easy for them to tense up, particularly if we're sitting in a round-shouldered slumped posture. Same on the other side, so gently drop your head to one side and reach down towards the floor with the other arm. So I'm still sitting nice and tall, and we'll do one more on either side. So just dropping the head over, reaching down, and then head to the left, reaching with my right arm. Okay, and then we're going to stretch across our chest. So reaching behind you, and I'll show you this one from the side as well. So maintaining that upright posture, resting your hands clasped together in the base of your back. And again, shoulders back and down. So I'm sitting nice and tall. I'm not letting my back overly arch. My chest is up and I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. So from the front, I've got a nice stretch across the front of my chest. And stretching across your chest helps your posture, because if your muscles in the front of your body are tight, then they're going to pull everything forwards. So stretching here helps and encourages that upright shoulders back posture position. So if you feel some tension in your upper shoulders and your back, it's a good idea to, and your chest rather, it's a good idea to stretch them. Okay, so now we're going to go for some movement through our spine. So we're going to reach down on a side bend, so bendy Annas. Now, I actually find these quite hard to do seated. I prefer to do them standing. I'm going to move a little bit further towards the edge of the seat so I can reach a little bit further down. So we're going for sideways movement, so I'm not bending forwards. And if you can, a nice big stretch up first, and then reach down one side and over with the other side, so that we're getting a nice stretch through this side as well. Now I cannot bend. I clearly use my legs much more than I'd anticipated. I'm getting a little bit more movement there. Oh, that's Martha. Just gave her a little bonk on the head there because she was in the way. Reaching down, and don't forget to keep breathing. Reaching up and over. As she said, I said she would jump up on the chair. She's very often my furry cushion. It's because she sleeps on this chair when I'm not here, so she really thinks it's hers. Right, we're going to do some twists. So again, sitting, make sure you're sitting nice and tall. It's really important to be sitting tall before you do any twisting. One, you're not going to get the movement if you're slumped down, but two, you can hurt yourself, and we don't want that to happen. So think about sitting up out of your pelvis. Start from a good position. Reaching one hand across the opposite thigh, and then you can use the back of the chair to reach with the other hand. If that's a bit high, hold a bit further down. It doesn't matter how high, as long as it's comfortable. And we're aiming, keeping that nice tall position all the way through to twist your chest around as far as you can. So relaxing through your shoulders. Shoulders should be away from your ears, so we don't want this to happen. So staying nice and broad across the front of your chest, so we're not squeezing in, and seeing how far you can twist round. And each time you breathe out, see if you can twist a millimetre more. So I'm pulling on my leg and pulling on the chair back behind me. And then come back to centre, set yourself up, and then reach for the other side. Feel a bit stiffer this side at the moment. So I'll do a couple of breaths. And then we'll do another one on each side. Second time is always better. First time, you're likely to feel a bit stiffer. Your body's getting used to the move. Your brain's getting used to what you're asking your body to do. So the second time, you're likely to get a bit more movement. and this side I can definitely get more movement. Having one side that's a little bit stronger or more mobile than the other is quite normal. We work to minimise the wonk, we would say, because we want to be as balanced as possible. This side definitely feels stiffer for me today. And breathe through. Okay. And then finally, we're going to do a little bit of stretch through our hips. So if you can, bring one ankle onto your thigh. Again, sitting nice and tall, and just encourage that knee to down towards the floor. So you're changing the angle of your hip, you're changing the movement in your hip. And you should feel a bit of a stretch in the outside of your hip here. So again, sitting nice and tall and just encouraging that knee to go down towards the floor. Helping with some stretch of the muscles in the outer hip. Because when we're sitting all the time, our hips stay in this position, which again, keeping anything in the same position for long periods of time is not necessarily good for us. And if you can relax into that, I've just realised my hips were quite tight, as in I was tensing my muscles. But if you relax and try and relax through your breathing, so breathing, being aware of your breathing and relax through the rest of your body, you'll get a little bit more stretch. And certainly my hip has got a little bit more movement there, which is quite useful. And we'll do one more on each side, and at the same time, if you rotate your ankles, so try and get as much movement through your ankles as you can, keeping your ankles mobile. It helps with circulation, helps with general movement when we're walking about, but stiffer ankles can cause problems with knees and hips, which can cause problems with lower back. So everything's connected. So don't forget your ankles. It's really easy, particularly when they're stuck underneath a table, for us not to pay attention to them. And oh, mine is clicking a little bit there. Okay, and then final one on the second side. So again, sitting nice and tall, encouraging that knee. And then, oh, you might be able to hear my dogs barking now. I think we've got a delivery. And just rotate the ankles. Okay, don't lean back in your chair if you have a furry cushion, because you would squash her. Hopefully you feel, your back feels a little bit more mobile. I hope you can hear me. And I do feel like I'm sitting a little bit taller, and I've got more space certainly across my chest and in my shoulders. So that feels much more comfortable. So don't forget to check out the website www.eatmovebehappy.com for more ideas on coaching to look after your health and well-being, look after your eating habits, eating a little bit more healthily, ideas for exercise. So check out the website, and don't forget to let us know, get in touch with us either through the website or through the Eat, Move, Be Happy peer support group on Facebook. I will be back tomorrow for more Movement Not Miracles. It's a little bit wet and soggy today, so stay dry if you go outside. I'll see you tomorrow.